Many people say they want a music career, but very few are actually willing to live by the standards it requires. And if music is plan B for you just in case, you're not building a music career, you're protecting your ego. This is not judgment, it's reality and observation. In this video, I will speak from 10 years of experience creating music, releasing tracks, coaching hundreds of producers, and I will explain the difference between a person who will inevitably succeed in music and between an average person who will get average results to no success at all. This is going to be raw, unscripted, unedited video. I just have my bullet points in front of me. So this is like a podcast style video. Grab something to drink, to eat, or maybe if you're driving in the gym, just enjoy the video. All right, let's start with the thing number one. Let's do some numbers, data, stats, whatever you want. So if we take this as like 100% of people, majority of people say that they want, I'm gonna do quote unquote, want music career. But unfortunately, they don't live by their words, right? Or words and standards. What I mean by this is you can say anything you want. I want to be successful as a music producer. I want to have a music career, yada yada. But if you look at your actions, are your actions actually aligned with your words? Or are you just like living in the fantasy world, pretending that like, oh, I am doing something? And then if we take the rest, this is like 10 to maybe like 15% of all people who really do the work, live by standards and actually have the right mindset about it. And just to be transparent, I'm not judging the like majority of people here. This is just observation because I really saw a lot of different situations. I worked with a lot of people, and this is just the reality. Like most of you, I'm sorry to say this, most of you will not be successful in music. And that doesn't mean that anyone, or like everyone, will not be successful. It just means that most people are not gonna put the time and the effort, the work, the energy, the mindset, like things that are required. So the key point here, most people don't fail. They just quit. They quit internally. So basically, internally, you just give up way before you are successful. Now, let's set the frame and go to the point number 2. It's not talent, right? It's never about the talent. It has nothing to do with talent, like intelligence, talent, what else? Creativity. These things are cool, but they are not the deciding factors in your success. What this is all about, if you want to be successful at anything in life, it's really all about your standards. It is commitment, which is a big word. Commitment. And self-respect. We'll talk about that. Self-respect. When things get uncomfortable, when shit is hard. This is really the key. These are the core principles, the core things that you need to become successful in music. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, music production is easy. Becoming successful really takes a lot of, I don't want to say like discipline or like give you the picture that it's all about hard work, which is clearly like it is not, but I'm gonna frame it in a slightly different way. It takes a lot of commitment that unfortunately most people don't have, because if it was so easy, it wouldn't be valuable. This is why we have like very few people are millionaires, right? Very few people are successful DJs and producers, because it is not easy, but it's doable, right? So again, so these are the principles that separate pros from amateurs. And the best thing about this, you can train that. Like, you can obtain these qualities, characteristics. So now let me talk about my story, because I have something to say. I've been doing that for like 10 years of my life, like 9, 10, depending like when I'm starting to count from. Let's just say like 10 years. So I've been making music for 10 years. I started when I was like a bit less than 17. I'm 26 right now. And these 10 years, I had a lot of doubt, frustration, self-hatred. What else? Even judgment from people that, your music is shit, go do something else. And I can't even describe, guys, how many times I felt like shit. Like, especially when I started for the first few years. Just to illustrate this, basically, if we go from point A to point B, so this is like your, this is your starting point. So this is A, and this is B. Oh no, let's do like this. So in the beginning, it basically goes like this, okay? So it's gonna be like doubt, frustration, self-hatred, you're not trusting yourself, not believing yourself, like all that stuff. But if you learn to overcome that, so you go like from here, and we just remove that, right? So your conviction, belief, standards as well, and most importantly, commitment, it can help you overcome that. But in the beginning, it's going to be slow, and then you just skyrocket like at this point. And I cannot even explain, as I said, how many times it didn't work. I was, for the first like 3-5 years, even though like I was considering myself to be very experienced, I would say like the first like 1 to 5 years, it is like really just starting point. Then like 5 to 8, it's like sort of semi-pro, and then really like 9-10 is where like fully pro. So just imagine this. And I was spending so much time, but when things didn't work out, like I was just like a lot of people, I was learning from YouTube, I was buying some courses like here and there, but I didn't give up when things got hard. I invested in myself, I committed to myself. And it's not like that I'm trying to look myself cool, it's just basically just telling you the experience, especially, when shit was hard. I had moments, it was like just about 2 years ago, when I could literally not pay my rent. I was just about to had like a couple of €100. I'm living in Europe, and the rent was like in a few weeks, and somehow the universe gave me opportunities like some music clients, mixing services, production services, and somehow, it worked out. But I was just about to get like a normal job and stuff like that, right? Oh, we're gonna get into like a very juicy point here. So, just to drive the point back home, I was hating myself, I was frustrated, I was judging myself, and your success is determined how much you can tolerate the discomfort, how much you can push even when you don't feel like it, even when you have circumstances like life, family, business, health, help, like whatever, right? So I'm not special, but there is a key difference which we gonna talk about just in a second, right? So the key point here, I'm not special, I just didn't leave when it's uncomfortable. So to illustrate it here, two people, and so gets uncomfortable, just quit, right? Like it's hard. And then we have person B. He might have like multiple ones, but then he's growing. Maybe he goes down, then again. But at the end of the day, it's like he still pushes through, no matter how hard it is. And this is like the key principle between winners and losers in life in general. So now let's talk about the patterns. And I'm gonna start with my own example. Patterns of successful producers. So I want to start with myself. The reason that I got to a certain level of success, I'm not like the richest guy, definitely. I'm not like the world famous, but number one, I never had a 9-to-5. And the reason behind that is really simple. For me, music was about like life versus death. So when I dropped out of the college, I had a fight with my dad. He wasn't really happy about it. You know, I was caught smoking weed. I was living in the hostel for like a week with like 8 people in the room until I found a new apartment. So at the point, I just realized if I continue with this system, I hate school. Like I have zero education, like zero, like no papers. Like I don't know if I can get a job, like a normal job, right? So for me, at that point, music was not an option. It was everything, like everything, because this is really the point. The pain should be so big that there's no other way for you but success. This is the key. So if you really, really want this, then it has to be life versus death. The discomfort has to be so big that no matter what, you're just gonna commit to it. So patterns of successful producers. Yeah, this is number one. Actually, I made a mistake, but I'm not gonna cut it out. I needed to talk about the other thing, but we'll just skip that. We'll just skip that. Fuck it. It's a raw video. It's a raw video. Can't bother. Let's talk about the patterns. Most common patterns. Common patterns of people who don't succeed. Okay, so number one is, this is very common. So first, you are excited. Then you're like, okay, excited. Then people say music is important for me. And I'm basically just describing some of the conversations that I had with people. So I'm going to give you like a couple of stories from like my business, my coaching experience. So excited, music is important. Then people agree to work together. So I'm talking about coaching right now, how like this is experience that I had with a couple of clients. Then they stick for a bit and then they just disappear. They just ghost. disappear. And that's kind of like the cycle. So you can see the pattern here. Like actually ghost without being honest, but we'll talk about that. Now, I want to give you a couple of examples that happens to me like recently. Like I am pretty privileged to have the best clients. Like really the majority of clients that I work with are like very cool guys, you know, committed. But sometimes I experienced some bullshit. So in summer, there was like one situation, like cool guy, you know, like he was releasing music, but then he reached out, he told me like, you know, I'm liking your videos, I want to work together. Like, and he already had like pretty good tracks, some presence, like releasing stuff on labels. But he was telling me that he needed that, like the last step to really get to that pro level. So we worked, no, let me rephrase that. So he wanted to work with me for a couple of months, and he told me like, you know what, like I really want this, but in terms of the money, I can do this, but it just seems like a lot of money. And I'm gonna be upfront, I'm probably the most expensive guy in the music industry, like right now for the coaching. But that's cool, you know, I'm not trying to work with everyone. So what I did is I offered him like, hey man, sure, no problem. If you really want this, then we can do like a payment plan. It doesn't have to be like all up front. So we work for 1 month. Then the guy is like super happy, gets results plus results. And then the most fucked up thing happens. After 1 month, he just ghosts me. Basically stops replying, and I was kind of surprised. It's like, you are getting results, you're happy about everything, but you just ghosted me. Even though we had an agreement, I gave you very good deal, or like the terms that we agreed on, like, hey, if you really want to work this, I can be flexible, no problem. And then the guy just ghosted me. Like, I followed up with the guy 2 times, like, hey man, just checking in, you know, nothing, like crickets, right? And the question for people like this, like looking straight to the camera, if you have this relationship with your craft, if you have this kind of relationship with the thing that you want to make your career, when you are doing like this, do you even respect yourself? Because to me, it's like, again, not judging, not trying to be like harsh or anything. I'm just trying to be like calm and professional. I would never ever judge anyone if for like whatever reason we have to start working together. But what I will not tolerate is disrespect and dishonesty. Like, if you cannot be honest, if you cannot be upfront, if you cannot just like, hey Vlad, like this in this situation, I think like I unfortunately just like cannot move forward. That's cool. But ghosting, this is like so unprofessional, honestly. So it is what it is. That's kind of fine, but to me it just never made sense. Like, if you treat your craft, if you treat yourself like this, because that just tells me everything about the person. And then I had another situation with another guy, like it's the same story, just a month ago, you know, we had a call, the guy was like super excited, and then after 1 month, again, they just offered like a flexible payment plan. He told me like, yes, music is the priority for me, I really want this. And then he just ghosted me. Like, look, he gave me like a reason, like something came up, I need to start saving, even though the guy told me 1 month ago, like, I have the budget, everything is cool, I am very committed, I want to do music full time. And like after 1 month, the guy just gives me like some sort of smoke screen reason and just ghosts me again. I'm like, hey man, like, sure, no worries, let's just like have a quick chat. If you want to stop, no problem. I would just love to have a talk, like have a call, talk to you face to face. So what do you guys think he did? Just ghosted me. So again, these two examples are just like two kind of like silly examples that I wanted to share just to illustrate that if you're committed, if you're really serious about this, you can outperform, you can outwork 99% of people, because most people are just not committed enough. So now let's get to the key lessons, the points. So what is ghosting really? So what is ghosting in these two examples? It's not money. Most people have money. For example, I invested $16,000 in coaching in the last around 6 months to be a better producer, be a better business owner. I'm investing my money into my craft because that's the most important thing for me. I treat this seriously. And for me right now, actually the reason why I'm making this video also, the standards of people who I'm willing to work with, I'm not compromising. I'm not working with people who are 50-50, half-assing. No, if you want to work with me, you have to be fully committed, because otherwise I'm just being very protective of my energy, because I always give the best service to my clients. If you're committed, if you're putting the work, you will get amazing results. So back to the topic here. Both of these guys, they had money. They just told me hey, I have the money. It's not a problem. So it's not money, it's not time, and it's not circumstances. What this really is, it is actually way deeper. It is way deeper. It's avoiding responsibility, because when you commit to something, like coaching, and you work with a coach, it's responsibility, because you said hey, I'm gonna commit. For me, it's also it's not about the money. It's just really weird, because I'm not struggling with money. I'm financially secure. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna be honest. These kind of situations, they could piss me off at the end of the day. But it's not that I need these clients. I'm starving here. No, not at all. Not at all. So avoiding responsibility, avoiding discomfort, because to be upfront with someone and say hey, I want to start working together, it requires you to have some balls. It requires you to be professional, and that can be uncomfortable. So it is, again, avoiding looking in the mirror, because these kind of situations, they force you to be self-aware, be honest with yourself. So the biggest thing in these two situations is people oftentimes don't live by their words. It's they say something but they don't do it. So if you say something and you do it, that puts you in the category of elite. Because it's easy to say, it's easy to promise, but it's hard to deliver. It's hard to stay committed when things get uncomfortable, right? It's I'm gonna make one probably last comment. Again, I'm just guessing, but probably what happened, they thought that, hey, I got enough value just from 1 month, so let me just, hop out. I can do everything myself. So it's again about trust in themselves, that hey, if I invest this subjectively big amount of money, it's nothing crazy that I charge, but it's expensive, just not mass market level. So I'm just guessing that probably they felt I don't want to spend money. The pain of spending money, maybe they didn't trust in themselves. They didn't really see how that would improve their situation. Again, fuck it, doesn't matter, okay? So let's wrap up with the key points from these two situations. If you can't show up in discomfort, why do you expect to succeed in the hardest, I'm not gonna be afraid to say this, hardest industry in the world? That's really the question for a lot of people. If you're not showing up for yourself, how do you expect to succeed? Because honestly, I would say music is one of those hardest industries to like ever be in. Most competitive, the toughest one, like music business, all this stuff. We're not gonna get too deep into this, right? So these two cases, it's really all about self-respect and standards. So let's get to the next point. Why most people don't make it. So lack of trust in themselves. And that can be in different contexts. So number one, trust that you generally believe that you can do it. That you believe, I'm gonna become like a world-class artist, DJ, producer, like whatever you want. And again, tied back to the previous two situations, let's say if you want the career, you're deciding to take things seriously, work with a coach like myself or someone else, I don't care. So when you show up, when you have a conversation with someone, when you have a mentor, so lack of trust can be in the way that maybe you committed for a little bit and then you just became afraid that I'm not willing to invest more money. Maybe you're not seeing the value, but in reality, these kind of situations really all about trust. When you're not showing up, it's it's the internal battle. Okay, so you need to have, I like the word delusional conviction and self-belief that, you know what, I'm the best. Not saying that I am better than someone else, just generally believing that I'm the best, I can do it, I can make it no matter what. Okay, then commit fully. So whether again, doing a session, working with a mentor, but really doing the thing. Are you really committing or not doing that? Because if not, then you're not gonna get results. And then another big one, music as plan B. This is the most deadly one. This is probably number one reason why people don't make it, music as plan B. But I just want to add a little comment about this as well, because not everyone wants to be a world famous producer, and that's fine. Doing music as hobby is fine, but you just have to be honest with yourself. Do I want a career? Because when you say so, it requires a very specific, certain level of responsibility, commitment, believe in yourself, and so on, right? Another one is want certainty before action. So had a conversation with a guy 2-3 days ago, and then I'm not gonna give too much personal details. Basically, the guy told me I would want to give it a shot. Music is something interesting, but then he gave me a lot of objections, hey, that's too expensive. I'm a grown-up dude, life is not that easy, this and that. I don't know if I want to spend this much money. So this just tells me something about a person when I have a conversation on the call. when people just like book a call to speak to me, the amount you're willing to invest in yourself is proportional to how much you really want the thing. If you think like a couple of $1,000s is really big to save yourself like 5-10 years of just trial and error, what do you expect from it? And again, like, no judgment, like, you do your thing, like, I don't care. These are just the videos for people who really get the point. And then it was just so funny to be on the call. Then he told him like, there's like this other school for like $150 per month, and I'm just thinking to myself like, bro, what do you expect? Like, you're not gonna get anything from like $150 per month. And again, like, the thing is, he told me like, I have the money, but then when we got into the specifics, he just started giving me some like objections. I need to think about it. And it's like, it's funny. He also sent me like a follow-up email telling me like, do you have examples of like A/B with clients before and after? Which I do have interviews on the channel, which you can watch. Also my website, by the way, if you want to work with me, the link is in the description. And this interesting thing that he told me like, if I hear the A and B example, this will be like the deciding factor, right? And this is really the point, like certainty before action. He wanted to like a guarantee that, oh, you're gonna get results. I cannot guarantee results to anyone. Like, if I'm being completely transparent, if I'm being completely honest, because that's the point of investing. That's the risk. That's the business. You do business, you invest like fucking $1 million into something, and then you just burn that money, so what? But then you can make like 10, 20 millions. And the same with music. Although, like, yes, I do technically have a guarantee, I can never offer a guarantee to people, because I cannot be the guarantee. You need to be your own guarantees, right? So let's go next. You don't need motivation. What you need is the ability to stand by your own decisions. And that takes courage. That takes balls, right? So let's just do like this. Okay, now let's go to the next point. Maybe I even talked a little bit about that, but this is just like a raw video, so I'm not gonna edit anything. This is a podcast style video. So money, risk, and reality. So music, oh my god, music is risk. That's like 100%, guys. Music is risk. Always been, and always will be. So you have to be willing to risk your money, your time, and sometimes you're gonna fail, but that's fine. And just coming back to the topic of investing, I was pretty lucky to have invested in programs that always got me results. It has never been like any case, like I never had a situation where I invested in like an expensive, like high ticket $2, $3, $4, $5,000+ in the program, and I never got results. Like, give you an example. So in April, I was stuck with my YouTube channel, and I was looking into like working with one guy, and I had a call with a dude, like with the sales manager. He told me it's $4,000, and I was like, fuck, like my ego turned on, and like, no, dude, like you can make it yourself. Like you're not gonna, you don't need this. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I feel that. I feel the ego. I feel the old identity, but fuck it. I cannot stay in the same position. So what I did, I just said like, okay, like I'm putting down the deposit. I'm going to my dad like for holiday for like 1 week. I came back, I paid. And then first month, I like made my first client, made back the investment. Like basically I just made back the investment in the first month. But all it takes is the decision to make that leap forward, because this is like your limiting beliefs are exactly what is holding you back, and especially when it comes like to investing in yourself. So if you're asking for guarantee, you're out. Professionals move with certainty, not after. So to illustrate this to you, how it can look is basically like we have two people. So example number one, just like one guy, and then he's like somewhere here. And all it takes is this point, and then it just skyrockets. And this is scary, right? Scary, uncomfy. But this is really like the key deciding factor. You can be one decision away from success. So every time when I was investing in programs, like it is fucking uncomfortable. It is sometimes like it is pretty much always uncomfortable to spend money. But to me, it's like, fuck it. You know, even if that's like $5,000, fuck it. Like I'll make it anyway. What's the worst thing that can happen? And I was lucky because every time it's like I got amazing results. And you don't make the decision, so like no growth. So again, you need to move with confidence. So that's the price of taking yourself seriously. Because the reason why people don't commit, or like the reason why people don't make the decision to invest in themselves, or like whatever you want, like invest in yourself, just spend more time making music, whatever is the thing, is again, the biggest one is lack of trust. And there's nothing I can do, there's nothing that someone can do to make you confident. Like you become confident by making bold moves, whatever is the thing that you want to make, right? So now, what like this whole year, what it taught about myself. So now, when I talk about my standards, so my standards. My standards is I don't work, no half-assing, or like 50-50, right? This is like, I kind of want it, but I need to think about it, this and that. Yes, music is important. No, like I'm not working with people who are not all in on music, or like at least, you don't have to be like all in to be like a full-time music producer or something like that. Like all in on the music as a journey, right? Even if you want to make it as a hobby, but you're like willing to learn, you're willing to invest, that's okay. So like I'm not really telling that, you know, I'm not going to work with you just because you don't want to have a career. No, this is like it's like the 50-50 mentality, like not confident, need to think about it, like this and that to me just says like you don't want this bad enough, like sorry, like I'm not wasting time. Another thing is I stopped no chasing. So when I have a call with someone and someone just says like, I need to think about this, I'm like, okay, whatever, go. Like, I'm just at the point where like I accumulated some financial wealth, and I'm at the point where like I can live off for like quite a long time without working like at all. So now I don't need to chase people, I don't need to convince people, and that gives me like so much freedom that like, okay, I don't close that deal and that's fine. It's like no chasing, no convincing that, oh, like, you know, I did some sales programs, and in the programs they usually teach you like, oh, if a customer has an objection, then you need to overcome the objection, or like this and that. Like sometimes it's just like logistical one, like time, maybe offering like a payment plan, that's fine. Like I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not gonna be flexible, or like I'm not gonna be professional. No, like what I learned this year, what I'm not tolerating is like convincing. Like, oh, do you have a guarantee? Like this and that, and I cannot make the decision for someone. Like I cannot push you over the edge, and I'm not willing to, because to me, like the way that I think about, like, why do I have to convince you to go all in on your music? Because I have some like very valuable skills, so technically, like, I don't need more clients. Like people need me, and this is not like an ego thing, this is just like objective truth. Like I have a lot of value to offer that people are willing to pay for, right? And also another one, no baby sit motivation, right? This is it. Like, I'm not your mom, I'm not your I don't even know like the other word. Like, I'm not your mom, I'm not gonna here to babysit you. And this all just, I realize, like, if I'm willing to bet a lot of money, like thousands of dollars on myself, I expect the same from my clients, like very high standard. So now I could be like, yes, I could, you know, overcome objections. I could convince people. I could be like, oh, like, you think that's too expensive? Let me offer you like a discount. Like, fuck not. Like, fuck not. Because lowering my standards, it doesn't help people. It just teaches them how to lie to themselves more comfortably. Because if I would be lowering my standards to work with everyone, I would not respect myself. So that's kind of like an important point as well. And you can really just extrapolate that to yourself. Like, what are your standards in music? How much are you willing to do? Kind of like that, right? So we are almost done with the video. Like, it's a long one, but whatever. Okay. So what is all in mentality? I think you can kind of understand what I mean here, but it's not hustle, it's not grinding 24/7, it's not like being hyped or like excited 24/7, like none of that. So not. What it really is, as you probably understand right now, is staying when it's hard, boring, uncomfortable, you name it, right? Staying with no guarantees, uncertainty, right? Staying when you want to quit. That's one of the biggest one. So your career is decided in the moment nobody sees. So like, to give an example, your career is determined by how do you talk to yourself when you sit alone in your room at night, can't sleep, but like just making it fun. When you are awake at night, and those are the darkest thoughts that you have. So how do you talk to yourself? And this will determine your success, basically, right? So, I mean, like all the rest points here, I have like my bullet points. It's like kind of like repetition, but generally like in music, it's to put it simply, music career is not for people who want shortcuts. I'm gonna keep it short. Want shortcuts, lack trust, standards. And can't commit to the words. That's really the key here, okay? And for those who are the opposite, if you can commit, if you can sit in uncertainty, people who respect their own word, you will succeed, right? So I probably triggered a lot of people in this video. I mean, those who are like sensitive, because this is exactly the point of this video. If you know, you know, like if you're the type of the person who like I'm describing here, like all in, this video is for you. But honestly, the closing line is this, and I just want to illustrate this. Music can be a hobby, and that's okay, right? I'm never gonna judge anyone who wants to do music as a part-time gig. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it's wrong when you are not honest with yourself. Wait, where are my notes? Okay, but a career demands different relationship, like mindset. It's like this is way more serious than just doing music part-time, right? So again, most people fail not because they lack something. They just don't have enough I don't want to really say like willpower, because that's like not really it. They are just not willing to tolerate the pain for long enough. So they just like quit entirely, like, it's too hard, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, but like whatever, right? And it's honestly the biggest one is like lack of self-trust, lack of self-respect, lack of commitment, and so on, you know, kind of like that. So yeah, well, that's going to be this the video for today. It's a long one. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, YouTube will automatically recommend the video here, so just click and watch that next from my channel.